children of her own, and you can imagine that she has taken an interest in childhood development and education. She homeschooled all of her kids at different times of their school careers for one reason or another, and many late night hours were spent doing research and finding out not just what, but how to teach and learn. One of the more lacking things in many children's lives in education, according to Annette, is time spent exploring and adventuring without an agenda and without constant supervision. And it seems to have become almost illegal or extremely difficult to find time in areas where children could do this. Annette would like to bring you along today for a taste of one of her own experiences of exploring or adventuring as a child. This is her 5th speech in the Competent Communication Manual. Her objective is to use stance, movement, gestures, facial expressions, and eye contact to express her message and achieve her speech's purpose. To make her body language smooth and natural. Her speech time is 5 to 7 minutes. Please welcome Anette.
Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, and honored guests. One of my favorite things to do growing up was traveling with my family. It was always a good time. It seemed like the normal life and rules were suspended, and life was always better and more exciting on the road. My parents' favorite travel destination growing up was Bern, the city, the capital of Switzerland, in the middle of the majestic Swiss Alps. In going to Bern, a lot of times we would find roads we hadn't been on before and cities not visited to discover amazing new places, parks, castles, cathedrals, many other natural wonders and legends. Excuse me. As I was in Bern, it became almost a second home to me. Several friends and I would, more or less alone, travel the streets and roam them. Our favorite thing to do, among others, was hopping on one of the city trains, taking it to the end station, figuring out what time we needed to take the return train in order to make it back to meet our parents in the late afternoon. This was a great plan, and we had a lot of fun investigating new places where we landed. Until one time, we took a train, got to the end station, only to find out that the last train of the day back had already left. Now we had to figure out where on the map we were, how to make a phone call. Several hand gestures, and hours later, we had made our phone call, got our parents to find where we were and pick us up. Needless to say, they didn't encourage us to do this again. Our other favorite thing was going to the city swimming pool. It had 3 different pools, foosball games, amazing, sweet, salty treats for hungry teens and kids. But the best part was the river Aar that went through it. We would walk up the river walk, get to one of the bridges we liked that wasn't too tall or too low, climb up on it, and dive in, only to have the swift river carry us along till we saw some red railings that would come out of one side, and we would try for our lives to swim sideways until we could grab a hold of one of the rails and pull ourselves up out of the very powerful river. Other things we tried were to swim upstream, and we still would be carried downstream. In fact, whether you were swimming upstream or downstream, the river carried us at about the same speed down towards the end of the road, or the river. This was a high favorite. Something else that we did, like a lot of teens and kids, we found a local mall. The local mall, back then there weren't as many, at least not in Europe, public restrooms. But this one had a public restroom, and it felt very opulent to us, fancy. We'd walk in there, and everything was actuated with foot pedals, which we'd never seen before. If you wanted to turn on the cold water, you would use the blue foot pedal and push it. The hot water, the red foot pedal. And then, of course, there were fancy lotions and soaps. The other place we liked to hang out was the regular grocery store in the mall, because they had amazing chocolate bars of brands and varieties we had never seen, along with yogurts of many, many different flavors, sparkling grape juice, apple cider, pear cider. As you can maybe imagine, we weren't really the favorite of the mall people. A bunch of young kids and teens hanging out, not buying a lot of stuff, and spending hours in the bathroom. We also really enjoyed, and I lost my train of thought again. There were so many amazing things that we went and did as we were finding new adventure for ourselves. And when I look back on this time, I remember amazing times, and my memories are full and great. In the beginning, our parents would take us to these camping places, and we would use springboard-like tents. But as our parents grew older, they weren't as excited about this, so they would check us into small and amazing B&Bs. I don't know if you've been to these houses in Switzerland, but they're really cute with awnings painted and flowers on the front. And the duvets and the comforters were this thick, and sleeping under them was absolutely heavenly. I think that it's really important that we let our kids roam and have adventures like all of us did, but somehow seems to have gotten a little forgotten or harder, as places that are open and free to play are harder to find. They've become more scarce, and we've become a lot more fearful of strangers and accidents. More time for kids on computers instead of outdoor clean air and fun adventures, away from very rigid rules or our electronic leashes. Thank you.